good, Chris. You don't have to worry about it.
No, you don't even know. I was like, I thought I could use the new food bank computer for the meeting, but I can't. Oh, here we go. Now I can see you guys, but it won't. I don't. Oh shit.
You know, you
Sorry.
you could have just come in person, Chris. You know, and a few of you could come in person.
I could.
Yeah.
Did I know that?
Yeah.
Could I come in?
We got Lori's in the room here, so we gotta.
Dang it!
It's all right. Well, you can jump in. You can get Pete to drive you. You're only 3 minutes away, so.
Now I'm discombobulated. No,
yeah,
my snack is here. I gotta eat my snack.
Hopefully the next one will be an all-person attendance. Would be nice.
So. Okay, I'll be right back.
Okay. Does she mean she's coming, or is she just fixing her hair?
No, I'm here. I'm coming.
She's getting her snack.
It's not really worth it for me to fix my hair anymore. Let me see. Forgot my notes.
We'll just give it a couple minutes, their group, and then we'll get this started.
Perfect. Okay. Starving.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. Well, we'll just. They're telling me to be particular. We are live, so we're being recorded. So, thank you for coming. So, I wish to call to order this committee, the whole meeting at 3:33 on October the 19th. Council would like to acknowledge Ucluelet in whose traditional territories the District of Ucluelet operates, and notice a video recording. Audience members and delegates are advised that this proceeding is being broadcast on YouTube and Zoom, which may store data on foreign servers. Are there any late items? Hearing, seeing none. Looking for approval of the agenda.
Move approval. Second.
Okay, all in favor? Opposed, carried. Thank you. No official mayor's announcements today. And we're going to get right to the heart here. We're going to have a representative from each community group be invited to provide an update of group activities. Some people, not going to mention any names, Chris, like to go on a little bit longer than the others. So I'm going to just, there's not a big group here. Sarcasm, Chris. It's all good. If you guys like to speak more, it's all good. We do try to keep it to 3 to 4 minutes. But again, this is our opportunity to understand what's going on in your group. So don't be too attached to the clock. I was trying to find my own minutes, my minutes from the last time we had, and I wasn't too sure if I started with the Z's or started with the A's.
You kind of did.
Did it jumped around?
Yeah.
Hey, Mako.
Yep.
Can I have a request? I have a conflict thing with my residents at 4:45. So if it goes on long, if it could scoot me in somewhere, I know everybody probably would like to do that, but I really do have to deal with this.
No. We can start with you, Kathy. Just, is there any other people that have a busy agenda?
Yeah, I do.
Chris and okay, a few of them. Okay, well, we'll let you guys.
Whatever.
We're gonna let you guys scrap it out, but we'll play that game. We'll let those that have a schedule speak first, and we'll work through. So I think there's only 13 participants so far.
No, 7. There's people listening.
15.
15. Okay. Okay. So we'll start with the groups. Kathy, since it started, we'll start with you. You know the game here. So again, I just really looking forward to hearing what you all have to say, and we'll start with Kathy.
Well, thank you. And thank you for bringing us together once again, because this is always kind of a nice point to do twice a year. I think we do. Yeah. But I guess for Forest Glen, what I'd like to say is just acknowledge, like most of you, the ever-changing effect of the provincial health orders has limited the ability for us over here to host events, or the Forest Glen of the past, where we had the popular senior demographic events and whatnot. and our friends from Forest Glen and families and the Sunshine Club and all of our volunteers. It's incredibly hard to believe we've been 20 months into this and we're just still in a stall. But we have managed to work through some projects through this time, and some good ones, some really good ones that aren't senior community connected, so to speak. One of them is, but we had the opportunity to work with BC Housing, and I think, Mako, you might have read some of this before. We had been afforded the opportunity to have a complete HVAC overhaul, which was timely with COVID and whatnot, because it really helped the circulation here be much better for the type of residents that we have here, with are sometimes a little more immune compromised, and also to install it's called a high-tech water solution system, which actually monitors our water digitally from Burnaby, and it helps to cut the particulates in the system that help alleviate corrosion in the pipes. And so that was a really good one for us, because we had started to have some pinhole leaks that we were just a little worried about, but it seems to have put a stop to it for now, and hopefully it will be a solution that helps for many years to come. And of course, we all know our water issues sometimes aren't exactly perfect. But one of the things that we are really pleased with is that we got a grant through CBT in combination with support from local BC Ambulance, Co-op, Island Health, our fire chief and whatnot, to set up a warming center here. And I don't know how many of you have seen any of our posters on it and stuff. It is now on our new website, which is someplace that if you are ever interested in learning about this. Warming center is sort of a comfort zone meant to be for short-term emergencies. You might recall several years ago, we had I don't even remember, like a 13-hour or 24-hour power outage. And it was cold, and it was winter, of course, because that's when we get most of our power outages. But it's a place where seniors can come to get warm, to get a cup of tea, to get maybe they had to get out of their house quickly, maybe that you just but it's meant to be a short-term solution for emergency food, water, and comfort supplies, and socialization. So that has been it's a very interesting project to work on. Our board did a lot of it, and Rochelle and Rick pitched in on a lot of the information that we needed to have. So that's really cool. We can take up to 25 additional seniors to our 10 already existing living here residents to make that happen. We're excited about it. We don't want to have any emergencies, but we do like the fact that we can help if there are any issues like that we can get involved in. We have managed to have internal events, special occasions, get-togethers for our residents, and we get a lot of support from the community in helping us have a little special event, whether it's a restaurant or whether it's a food bank or whether it's, the co-op helps out sometimes. Every once in a while, a restaurant will say, hey, can we do something special for your residents? And that has been fantastic. We have to think once in a while about our contract cook, who works 365 days a year, basically. So we really do like to do something where we can let her have some time off and have a life. We all like that. We would really like nothing more than to open up our doors again to the events that we're becoming so successful here. our main thrust is to keep our residents safe and secure. And fortunately, we were the first of the assisted living, long-term care, independent living on the island to get their boosters. So a week ago, our residents had their boosters, and they're very excited about it. In fact, we make the booster shot day an event in and of itself. You know, some treats and oranges and lots of laughs. So we're really fortunate that we have great care teams here in town. Our community care workers are so excellent. Our outreach workers are really great, and you know, they treat Forest Glen like family, which has helped a lot to get through this whole pandemic, up and down roller coaster of rules. And for those of you who listen to the Bonnie Henrys and read the PHOs, the public health orders, sometimes people mistake the fact that that's rules for the general public. They make it a little harder on us to get through because they have us get, well, we have to take extra precautions. So it truly takes a village, but we have maintained lots of laughs and good times and lots of joy and celebrations of the residents who live here. So we hope to be able to open up again one day and invite all of you back to celebrate with us when we do. And that's that. Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thanks, Kathy, for that detailed update. Any questions from any of the councillors? No, it's really wonderful to hear the warming center. I know that was actually December 2018, so to hear that that's now in place of a warming center for seniors. The question, what's the description of senior? Plus what, 55?
55 plus, you know, and it's really, we have a big, our list, we have a big list of our friends and family of Forest Glen too. And it's not just seniors. I mean, so we have a lot of resources to help people out in the event we do have something like that happen. And of course, you know whose mother will be here helping.
A couple there, so they like that spot. So it's a great hub. Well, thanks again, Kathy, for that update.
All right.
I know there's a couple of you that are going to be leaving here, so I know that Mr. Lawrence, our CAO, was going to make a little presentation regarding grants and aid, so I'm sure that'll be emailed to you. So those that may not listen to that presentation, there'll be some information coming to you regarding just a reminder regarding the policy and the application form for the grants and aid. So you'll be all getting that in the very near future. Okay, moving along. I saw another one. Was it Multiplex that I see that needed to go? Sorry, I forget your name. Michelle. Okay.
Hi, yes, it's Michelle. So, I mean, last time I think I mentioned about the Lion Arena first and arena impact on my taxes, but it was at the time of the meeting anyways. So if anybody has any questions on those two educational campaign, let me know. So, I'm not sure if someone is speaking in the background or if I should just keep going.
You can keep going. I think Kathy didn't mute her mic. So just a reminder to those that are there, if you don't mind just muting your mic. Kathy, could you mute your mic for us? Thank you.
Yeah, sorry.
It's all good.
So the golf tournament, we raised pretty much $37,000. So we're really excited. It was on September 25th. And Introduction to Hockey, it's a program that it's Port Alberni Hockey Association. They put on, they normally have, it's called First Shift, but it wasn't happening this year. So they created a program and the Multiplex was happy to sponsor. And so 21 kids joined the program. And so basically they were aged from 5 to 11. And we provided the entire equipment for those kids. And there was 4 ice time with coaches. and that happened all in September. So we're pretty happy. It was pretty successful. Grant application, we have now, in July, we sent in our third application. The second one was turned down, and the third application would cover the whole $19 million for phase one of the multiplex. And so we're still waiting. And then, so we are right now working on a video, even though, you know, like if this grant, we're hoping this grant will be positive of the whole amount, but still there's phase two to come. So whatever happens with this grant application, we know we need definitely a couple of millions in the bank to make sure that the whole project happens, you know, the arena in the pool. So we're gonna start a fundraising campaign within the next month or 6 months or so. So we're working on a video that's gonna really showcase the multiplex, and also on strategic funding on how to move forward and all that, and timelines. So that's pretty much all for us.
Perfect. Thank you, Michelle. Any questions for Michelle?
Hi, Michelle. What grant did you just apply for a third time? Was it the same sort of infrastructure grant?
Sort of, yes and no. It's the similar, but it was a different title. This one actually, I don't remember the name offhand. I could email it to you though. It's green. There's green something infrastructure. So basically, the first two that we had applied for, they were after we've applied on the first one, and then they sort of were saying in the second application that they were meant for like smaller project, or basically they had too many requests, and so they were kind of focusing on smaller project. But this one is actually based is really targeting the bigger projects. So we're really hoping. And so the name, would you like me to email you the name of it?
Sure, if you wouldn't mind, that'd be great.
Okay.
And good luck with that.
Thank you.
Thanks again, Michelle. Moving on. Faye, did you have your hand up? Is you the one that wanted to exit as well?
Yes, thanks, Michael. I'll have to leave at 4. Rebecca's here for Clackwell Biosphere Trust, so I'll be here for the coalition, the Coastal Family Resource Coalition. A programming update on Thursday evening. Sarah Hagar, who's our coordinator for the West Coast Children Resilience Initiative, is hosting in-person and online free screening of Gabor Mate's new film, The Wisdom of Trauma, and we'll be hosting a optional dialogue discussion afterwards. And the online link, it will be available, like you'll be able to watch the film for 24 hours, so from Thursday night to anytime on Friday night. So if you're not if you're familiar with Gabor, he came out to the coast several years ago and did a presentation which was well received. And yeah, all the information is on the community board on Facebook, and also on the Coastal Family Resources page, our Facebook page. So encouragement for you to attend that if possible. And from Coalition, we're a network, and we meet monthly, so our fall meetings have resumed. We have a few different working groups. One's harm reduction, and a lot of that work right now is focused on alcohol use in the region and alcohol use disorder. And I gave a presentation not that long ago to District of Clulet, and there seems to be some follow-up around the municipal alcohol policy. So I'm excited about that. And another unmet need in the community, in the region, is crisis housing for youth. And we have a working group coming together, meeting around that need, with like a preliminary needs assessment done. And what we're really needing now is a lead organization to take it on, and funding, of course. So I'm just putting that out there. And like youth crisis housing, I mean, like short-term stays for youth who are in either a precarious living situation in general, or experiencing an acute crisis where they can't be staying at home. So thanks. That's all I have to share for now.
Hi, Faye. I'm not sure. I just wanted to ask if we had asked for that to come back to us for some sort of to confirm that we did do that.
Are you referring to the alcohol?
Yeah, the policy.
I'll pass it off to Mr. Lawrence there. Are you able to comment on that?
Not at this point.
Abby and Bree reached out for additional resources, just for information at this point.
It is coming back for us for definitely for some dialogue. So it's definitely on the radar, and I think it was well received. I wasn't there, but from what I understand from staff or from,
yeah, I would just make an emphasis now that I would like to see that come back in some way, shape, or form.
Okay. Did you guys make a motion on that one?
Yeah, we did. I
okay,
remember
so
making a
it's on the
motion
track.
about that.
Okay, perfect.
Sorry, Your Worship. The report is going to be with our Director of Recreation. So as soon as she's back from holiday, she'll be bringing forth a report to Council with options.
No, it's great. I think it's timely and but Faye, if I can, the last comment you talked about youth in crisis there.
Yeah.
I don't want to clog it down with the group here, but I'd like to circle back to that. Maybe in the near future we can talk face to face on that one. I'm just curious if there's other models in the province, and so if you can just perhaps send me an email or something, and then we can just circle back to that one. I'll be curious to see how you vision that.
Great, I'd love to.
Okay.
I will email you.
Okay, thanks again. Any other questions?
Just a quick one, Faye. Hi. You said the link for the Gabar Mate stuff was online, was on your webpage or your Facebook page?
Yeah, I just shared it on our Coastal Family Resource Coalition Facebook, and Sarah Hagar personally shared it on the Facebook community board, and I believe CBT will be sharing it shortly.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, it was in the rec guide, but it was supposed to be last week, but we moved it this week to accommodate a hybrid face-to-face and online delivery for COVID.
That darn COVID keeps popping up.
Okay, well, thanks again. That was very informative. No other questions? Okay, moving along. Chris Martin, I think you wanted to speak. You're still on mute, Chris. I want to hear every word. Still on mute. There you
I'm on
are.
our new computer. I'm sorry. Anyway,
good, Chris.
success.
We hear you. We
Hi.
hear you. Go for it.
Okay, good. Hi, everybody. So Chris Martin here with Food Bank on the Edge. I wanted to go in order of our stuff. So basically, it's been pretty much status quo with how we've been operating, and we're continuing in that vein as we move forward indefinitely. We did get a grant for refrigeration. We purchased 2 new freezers and a new cooler. And I publicly thanked the Public Works employees that showed up to help us with the equipment. They were just awesome, and we couldn't have done it without them. It was a huge, getting 3 new units was really big because we had to move 3 things out to get 3 things in. So that was good. Update on the gaming grant. So end of July, July 31st was our deadline to submit for the capital gaming grant for the first round for our new building project. So I was hoping that I might have some news for this meeting, but we don't have any news yet. Sue Payne is our grant writer, and she thought maybe by October we would hear something, but so far nothing. And then in the meantime, we've also reached out to Josie Osborne's office, the MLA office, because she actually approached me about asking how our new building was going. And so, Mako was insistent that we follow up with her office, which I've done a few times. And unfortunately, I haven't heard anything back from her. Sue Payne has also tried to reach out to the office. So now I'm just going to, it's been via email, but I think now I'm just going to have to give her a call and just see if they have any ideas about more grant opportunities for us as we try to generate funding for our new building project. And Sue was also going to talk to Gord John's office as well. So that's that. Also, in conjunction with our grant application, Sue has, we have a new website. And because we want to start doing crowdfunding opportunities. So our website is foodbankontheedge.ca. And we're going to, we just had a meeting last week with Sue, and she's going to set us up with a PayPal account so that donations can be made directly through our website. So we're pretty excited about that. We kind of feel like we've joined the 21st century. Let's see, I guess that was really all. Oh, and the Christmas hampers. So we've had a lot of changes in our structure this year. I lost 2 key directors. Margaret Morrison retired from West Coast Community Resources Society. And so and we lost our Far West Distributors Connection. Tierney and Scott sold their business. So as a result of that, we're having to be a little more creative with our Christmas hamper this year. Some changes to that are that we've asked Ucluelet First Nation to be responsible for transport of their hampers this year. Typically, we would load the truck up, the Far West truck, after the hampers were assembled and ship their delivered hampers over to them. But I just sent an email out this morning to UFN and informed them that this is how we're moving ahead with this, because we don't have that ability anymore. So, and I think it's a good thing. I think it's appropriate because it's almost half of our Christmas hampers go across the bay. So this will help us a lot. We'll be still very careful about, making sure everything's well labeled and all that. Once again, our Christmas hamper is going to be at the community center. And it's on December 22nd. So yeah, and Stuff the Cruiser, another holiday event for us, is going to be December 11th at the co-op. And that's in conjunction with our local RCMP detachment and the co-op. So we'll be looking for those opportunities. In addition, Jennifer Hoare has agreed to once again do the reverse advent calendar, which has been very popular the last couple of years, where she offers up an item every day for a countdown from the Christmas hamper itself, or actually no, countdown from Stuff the Cruiser. So every day a shopper can come in and buy one item, a specific item for the food bank that's related to holidays or just basically things that we never buy. So that worked really well, and we're on board to revamp the list for that, and we're looking forward to doing that as well. So yeah, so Mako, if there was any opportunity for you to maybe have a conversation with Josie about our granting stuff and maybe put a good word in for us, that would be great. So far, that's all I have to say. So thank you.
In the light of that, we may be in a similar situation as we were last year, where we're maybe encouraging people not to be going to the co-op every day if they can avoid it. I can say that Bo and I last year went in and we got the calendar and the list, and we had a super great time all in one fell swoop. Yep. And it was, I took pictures. It was super fun. So yeah. If we're in that sort of scenario, I'm just throwing that out there.
I'm actually planning to make sure that there's a stack of lists at the cashiers. So you just pick up a list, shop with it. I will post every day, whatever the items are. That's my social media thing, because all the time in the world. And I'm happy to rattle people's cages. Hey, look, Rochelle, I haven't seen you and Bo in shopping yet. Come on, come and grab that, cart full of goodies. So, Chris and I are on that. So probably looking at about mid-November.
Yeah.
And then finishing up the Friday and then drop it off for Stuff the Cruiser if you haven't already dropped it into the food bank bin.
Sounds good. And we went through the list today, and I'll do some substitutions because I got that in your email, and I'll send it back to you. Thanks, Jen.
Perfect. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you. Any other questions for me?
I actually want to note how I'm not a very good parent. I actually pulled Bo out of school to make it a special occasion so that it was something he would remember to, anyways. I'm not suggesting everybody pulls.
He's probably
their children.
expecting it
Everybody's
this
already
year.
pulled their children anyways. Never mind.
Chris, just to go back to Osborne and Mr. Osborne and stuff, I think again we haven't spoken about it. I'm curious to see what your plans are. So let's just make a tentative date here. And you got my number, so send me a text and let's just cross paths, whether
Okay.
it's down at your your current location, and we can have that discussion.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. We're very supportive, and you can see that everyone's looking forward to supporting your organization again this year.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Did I have any other early birds? Heather, did you want to put your hand up? Your hand's up. I'll let you go. I know I'm not following the alphabetical order here, but
I don't mind going. I can go. If there's a lot of traffic and
okay.
activity
I'll let
behind me.
Mandela
So,
up next. Sorry, Mandela.
oh no, Mandela can go. I'm fine. There's people behind me. Like, that might be why my hand's up as I'm telling them to shush.
Mandela, welcome. How are you doing?
Hi, everybody. Nice to see everyone. Sorry, I have to run off for my kids pretty soon. So I don't really have any specific asks, but am I supposed to just sort of give a little update as to what we're working on? And
We'd love to hear an update, and then whatever you'd like to do.
okay, we've had a very extremely busy year at Central West Coast Forest Society. I don't know if everybody knows who we are, but we are a nonprofit. We're on the corner of our office is on the corner of Main and Peninsula in that yellow house there, and we focus on habitat restoration in the region. So this year we've been working primarily in Clayoquot Sound with Ahousaht, Tloquet, and Heshquet nations, and we've been working on the Tranquil River. Up in Heshquet Harbor, we've been doing riparian restoration up there and slope stabilization work. And then on the Tranquil, we flew 230 large logs into the river there and made these large engineered log jams on a gravel bar on the corner of the river there. And we've had some really big success already after these big rain events. We've been working with Ahousaht and MHSS on the Bedwell and the Cyper and the Atleo River. We were successful with a Healthy Watersheds grant, and that was through the province of BC, and that's been amazing. We've been able to employ about 30 people. Every month is a little bit different. Some months are busier, but more than 30 people full time this year through that, with help from that grant, and we've been able to directly support MHSS and their Guardian program, as well as Tloquet and their Guardian and the Heshquet Fisheries program. So that's huge. We just had MLA Minister Josie Osborne come out, on Sunday to check out some of our projects, because we're really trying to push for that funding to continue. So we're hoping to encourage that with the success that we've seen in the region and the amount of employment we've been able to offer, as well as the level of restoration we've been able to successfully complete. And we have the outpost is open. We have our stream table, which we encourage you to bring your kids in to check out. It's pretty cool. It's an interactive, river that you can sort of manipulate things around and see how a river reacts. And we also, sell lots of lovely things there, and all the money goes back to our nonprofit. We're working on the Walk in the Forest Trail, as well as we continue with the Big Beach knotweed removal, and I think we'll start taking on the Alder Park as well as the Lighthouse Loop for just not weed maintenance. It's just an annual pull that needs to happen all summer long. And so it's tedious, but if you stay on top of it, then knotweed won't take over. And yeah, that's basically a quick summary.
Perfect. Any questions for Mandela?
Hi, Mandela. The Walk in the Forest Trail, that work seems to have been going on for quite some time. Do you have sort of an ETA for when that will be finished?
Yeah, so we ended up having an extremely busy summer and all of our staff had to go on other projects. So we do have a crew out there and I'm hoping they'll finish in the next couple weeks. That project's always a bit of a challenge because the parking lot is a camping spot. So somehow I would love to be able to brainstorm how we can change that one day and actually make it a trail that people use for interpretation. It is a great learning experience, the Walk in the Forest Trail, and it really showcases old growth and second growth and clear cuts as well. And I mean, we're hoping to be done the boardwalk portion in the next couple weeks. That is the plan. And we still need to find further funding for the gazebo, but there also is, we're in discussion as to whether that just encourages more camping.
Oh, thanks for that. We've always walked our dogs in there and just love it in there.
Yeah, so hopefully it'll be done soon.
Thank you.
No other questions, Mandela? Thank you. I know it's a passionate group, and you always underplay the work that you guys are doing. You're very much a very quiet group, and I'm happy to hear you guys are having a very successful year on funding, and I hope the tour with Osborne brings you a little bit of hope for next year.
Thanks. Yeah, we really want to encourage a restoration-based economy out on the coast, and I think that there's so much potential for that, and there's so many great jobs that people, they're career type jobs that people can get involved in as long as we have the funding. So we just keep looking for it.
Perfect. Okay. Moving
Thank
on. If there's no other individuals I'd like to leave early, I'll try to stay to the script here. I'll start alphabetically. I didn't see Marcy DeWitt on today with the Health Network. Is that correct? Okay. Do we have a hand raised? Oh, Barbara, do you have your hand up? You're on mute there, Barb. You've muted yourself there, Barb.
Yeah, I was hoping to speak before Mandela left, just to thank her for partnering on some summer student hours for us. But she's gone now, so.
I'm still here.
Oh, there you are. You moved.
Thank you.
The screen keeps moving.
Thanks,
yeah?
Barbara.
Should I go or?
Yeah, go ahead there, Barb.
Okay. Well, the Wild Pacific Trail Society basically went from 0 staff, 0 hours to nearly a program every day in August, where we saw 3,000 interactions over 117 hours of staffing, which is actually very intense. That was partially, in fact, with Central West Coast taking a day of the week and the Rain Coast Education Society taking a day of the week, which is a model I'd love to continue because it really gave us a lot of coverage. Because we only had 1 employee and there's only so much they can do. But it was a really good season coming out of the gate with absolutely nothing. Looking forward, we're hoping to get more funding so we could return to normal staffing with a full-time naturalist and a summer student. But our donations are sitting at about 50% right now. I guess BCers aren't as generous as the international market in the donation boxes. So we're really dependent on that donation to keep us going. So we'll be looking for funding there. And the other thing we're looking for funding on is we're working on interpretive signage at ancient cedars. We've had our eye on this for a long time. We only get one shot at it, so we want it to be really good. We're working again with Andy McKinnon for his incredible ability in biology, and hope to put together a great series. We tried one grant application, which was not successful. So we're going to be looking again to see what we can come up with there. But we're going full steam ahead on that regardless. And I just wanted to say a thank you to the district for a great opening at Spring Cove. It was sort of a watershed moment, dedicating an elder tree, a plaque, and a bench to Barb Tucci. And there were like 30 family members in attendance, some coming from very far away. It was a pivotal moment for the society with building these great connections. So we hope to follow that through. Maybe getting an educator from First Nations would be my dream come true. And I guess that's it in a nutshell. Any questions?
Thank you, Barb. Any questions for Barb?
Oh, sorry. And maintenance has been taken over by the district, and we're seeing great results from that. Need to acknowledge that. It's really well done.
Yes, it was probably a bit awkward at first because we had a very good committed crew on your staff that were doing it. So I think the transition's been positive, and I'm glad. I appreciate your feedback there because I think walking the trail recently, they're doing a pretty good job. So it's nice. I don't see any questions for you, Barb. So thanks again for your commitment to what you're doing. And I do agree the opening of that one trail was a very moving moment there with the Tucci's, and it was great. I look forward to more of those.
Mm-hmm.
Emily, Canadian Rangers, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Good afternoon, everybody. I will start with just a really quick summary of sort of, I guess, the strength of our of your Ucluelet patrol. So right now we're sitting at 19 rangers still. We have a new application just been submitted, so that will be our 20th. And so we've sort of lost a few and gained a few over the last year. For the most part, those that we have lost have sort of moved out of the community and weren't very active within the Rangers anyway. So I feel like that our overall effectiveness as a patrol has increased, even though our numbers have stayed the same, because our new Rangers are all live out here between Ucluelet and Tofino. So that's a positive gain for us as a patrol for sure. The sort of kind of big news, I guess, in the Ranger world is that the group, so we're part of the 4th Canadian Ranger Patrol Group, which extends from British Columbia all the way to Manitoba. So we have a new commanding officer for the group, and you know, it's always kind of curious to see the direction that a new commanding officer takes for a unit. And so it seems that the mandate for this new CO is going to focus more on community support. So our last commanding officer was big on you know, wilderness survival and providing training for the greater army, and sort of having more of a focus kind of internally. And this commanding officer is you know, focused on supporting the patrols in order to support our communities. So that's kind of where our focus for our training for the next you know, 3 to 5 years is going to look. So that, you know, there's room for interpretation in there. Whatever our community is in need of, really, is sort of where we're supposed to focus our training. So as many of you know, we've got some light urban search and rescue training coming up next month, which has been a long time coming with the pandemic and other issues. This has been postponed 2 or 3 times now in the last year. So finally it's happening. We're really excited about that. So it's a rapid damage assessment training and light urban search and rescue, so that we can sort of fill that gap that's in the overall capabilities of our communities on the West Coast here. And then, and so in saying that too, that's sort of the room for interpretation is kind of whatever gaps that our communities have in our capabilities, sort of like emergency response capabilities and things of that nature. So that's kind of what we're going to be looking for, and in our patrol members' daily correspondence with people around the community, if that sort of things come up that would be a good area for us to train in, that's kind of what we're looking for. Also on that note, we are most likely going to be looking at doing some more interagency training. So we'll be looking at working with the Coast Guard, with RCM SAR, potentially with fire departments and West Coast Inland Search and Rescue and agencies like that, so that we can, practice our own skills and our own role as a liaison between the community and the Army, so that we can, practice that role as well as our basic rangering skills, I guess you could say. So we have 2, so every training year, each patrol gets 2 exercises that usually go from like a Friday to a Sunday. So this training year coming up, 2022-23 training year, we have 1 exercise that our focus is sort of back to basics, they've called it, back to basics rangering skills. By the time that exercise of ours comes around, it'll be about a year from our initial LUSAR training. So we're going to make that into kind of a refresher, and then throw in as many sort of basic rangering skills that we can in there, so that we keep our knowledge that we've gained from that training fresh. And then our other focus is 2022 is actually going to be the 75th anniversary of the inception of the Canadian Rangers. And so that's sort of a big deal. And so we've got, they're calling it the Year of the Ranger. And so we have, I believe there's 5 patrols from the island who are going to, one way or the other, kind of converge on Estevan Point, which, as many of you know, is sort of the one and only spot where there was some shelling that happened during the war 80 years ago. So 75th anniversary for the Rangers, and also the 80th anniversary of that event happening. So there'll be some kind of, we haven't quite hammered out the details yet on what's it all going to look like, but that's, we're all going to be converging on Estevan Point in June of next year. And I guess I just kind of wrote down a few things, for like, what do I mean when I say Ranger skills? So things that Rangers train in, things like familiarity with our area of responsibility. So if you take sort of a 100-kilometer radius, as the crow flies out from the community, so we're sort of like Estevan Point out towards Port Alberni and down towards Nitnat Lake area, probably a little bit farther than that. So our area of responsibility encompasses all of that. And so we're supposed to be familiar with everything. So things like, route recce's, we've done a lot of our training this past summer focused on being more familiar within Barkley Sound and kind of the marine environment there, and our boating skills and all that kind of thing. So we have, we got charts for everybody to take home so people can just study and get familiar with island names and channel names and all those things that, if if assistance is needed on some kind of marine search and rescue, then we can be a part of that as well. That we're more familiar with names and then also things like wilderness survival, wilderness first aid, radio communications, incident command systems, predator protection, search and rescue, swiftwater rescue, rope rescue, navigation, and just basic emergency response. So those are the kinds of topics, I guess, that rangers sort of do most of our training in. So those are the kind of gaps that we're going to be looking for, if there are any, on the West Coast here, and that we'll be working for focusing our training on for the next few years. And I think that pretty much covers our update from the Rangers. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily.
Hey, Emily, thank you so much. Love your new CO's mandate. And do think of BCHS when our new SOC model, our staffing model, actually has a large portion of it 7 days a week with a ticky box to make sure that we're doing collaborative training and reaching out and doing some things that a lot of us haven't got to do together since the coastal response years ago. Wondering about the rapid damage assessment. Who is administering that day for you?
Who's providing the training for us?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean? So this is sort of an internal military instructor.
Is he at a Victorian? Is he really? Do you know? Is he the same guy who came for Exercise Coastal Response?
Maybe Glenn Campbell, I think his name is.
Nice.
So, yeah. So he's coming up to give our training.
So good. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for that detailed report, Emily, and it's nice to hear that you actually didn't lose too many and you still have an active group in your organization.
Mm-hmm.
That's great news.
Mm-hmm. I might add actually one more point. So the new CO he is visiting every single patrol in the group between BC and Manitoba. So it's quite an endeavor, but he's scheduled to come to Ucluelet on November 16th and 17th and is looking to have sort of a brief meeting with some of the key people within the community. So Mako, I might be, you probably expect a message from me in the coming days about that if you're free for the afternoon of the 16th of November.
Yeah, we'll make some time for sure.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, moving along. Staying to the script. CBT. Welcome, Rebecca.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. It's nice to see so many familiar faces together. Some highlights for CBT recently. We completed our periodic review self-study, so that's now available on our website, and I've emailed the link or sent a letter with the link to council. It's quite an endeavor, the periodic review. It's every 10 years reporting. So that self-study is one element. Another element are letters of support for the continued UNESCO designation. So I'm grateful for the letter from the District of Ucluelet and from so many of the groups that are here today. We've compiled those in what's called a story map, and I think it's a really nice way to visually look at the partnerships that the CBT has and to share those words of support. So if you have a few minutes to take the time following that link, it's a great one. And then in May, we hosted 2 reviewers that were appointed by the Canadian Commission for UNESCO for a virtual review. So they weren't able to visit because of COVID, but we had a series of roundtables and it was positive. Their report is also posted on our website. So the good news is that the Canadian Commission for UNESCO has recommended that we maintain the Biosphere designation for Clayoquot Sound. And they've passed on that recommendation now to UNESCO, and it will take about another year for the UNESCO process to review our report and then provide a recommendation and hopefully the continued designation back. So I'll just continue to keep you up to date on that process as we move along. The rezoning for the Biosphere Center continues to be underway. So CBT purchased a piece of property in Tofino at the top of Olson Road a couple of years ago, and we've now just had a second reading with the District of Tofino and received unanimous support for that to move forward to the public hearing. We know that it's going to be really important to have strong support from all of our partners at that hearing, and so as much speaking to the district as everyone else on the call, if you have support or see possibilities for working with us at Biosphere, awesome to speak with you about that, and hope that the community at large shows up really positively for the public hearing. I don't know if the district of Ucluelet would consider providing a letter of support for a rezoning. I'm sure that's a bit unusual, like outside of the geography of the district, but it would be really helpful just to the consultation process and sort of the community engagement that we've had over the number of years in moving that project forward. So I could provide you with a template or make a more formal request that was something you'd consider. Our granting for 2021, we're starting to, or sorry, 2022, we're starting to think about next year and planning for next year, but at the same time really want to be learning from our periodic review and from vital signs research and from the pandemic. And we recognize that our granting program is not working for the nations in whose territories we operate. And so we're doing some work around that, really learning about equity and thinking about how we can ensure that our grants are made to accessible where they're most needed in the region. So I anticipate that there could be some changes for 2022, and we don't know what those look like yet, but we're just in that learning and unlearning process with our board, staff, as well as committee volunteers. And so we'll try to keep folks up to date as we move through that learning through our social media and through sharing with our grantees. And Neighborhood Small Grants is our only granting program that's still open for this year. So currently accepting applications for culture, neighborhood small grants, as well as some responsive, COVID responsive neighborhood small grants. Yeah, that info is all available through our social media as well. Open to any questions you have.
Hi, Rebecca. Thanks for that. The small neighborhood grant, that's up to $500. Is that correct?
It's true. For culture neighborhood small grants, we're thinking about some grants up to 1,000, so that could be possible, but there would only be a few of those, just recognizing that there can be some projects in that area.
And what's the deadline for that grant?
Yeah, I think we're just extending it to November 15th.
Okay, thank you.
You can speak to it, but I think your request for a letter, I don't see a problem with that. So just follow a normal course, send us a letter with your details. And I know Councillor Cole is, if you want to speak to it, you go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just think that it would be important for us to support that, and that we would look forward to whatever the next step is to make that happen.
Awesome. I'll be in touch. Thank you.
It would be kind of fun for all of us to go to a Tofino public hearing and speak about some stuff in Tofino. I think that in itself sounds like that was really we're in. So yeah, count us in. Yeah, exactly. We have a little lunch at the shelter. Hopefully it's an afternoon meeting, so it'll be good. So yes, we're very supportive. Everybody on the West Coast appreciates the work that your organization does. So I think that would be fun and show the Ucluelet's also behind your new building and the impact it has on the West Coast.
Awesome. Thank you.
So we look forward to your request. So we'll kick the door open there. Is there any coastal animal rescue? James, I don't see James on.
Hey there, James here.
Oh, there you are. Okay. I'm not seeing everybody, James. So welcome.
Oh, there we go. Is that better?
Yeah, there you are. I like the hat. Nice color.
Yeah, that's the new care hat. It's part of our long story.
Oh, you're selling swag now?
Yeah. It's the only way we get money.
Okay. Yeah, I know. You keep trying to get money out of us here in the district, but one of these days you'll be successful. Okay.
So I think this is the first time I've participated in one of these. I guess maybe just a quick intro. CARE's been helping animals on the coast for about 10 years now. Last year was our busiest year yet, 750 plus animals. helped, and in part we were able to do that because we now have the shelter facility at the airport, which is where I am right now. We just got a new dog sitting down at my feet here. And COVID hasn't been easy for anyone, and certainly not for the animals. We've had to limit our community visits and interactions a fair amount. And of course, as the waves continue, that's sort of an ongoing thing. We are considered an essential service for the communities that we partner with. We currently partner with 4 Indigenous communities here, and work with them to first develop and then enforce their animal care and control bylaws. That was a big gap that we identified some years ago. The bylaw thing, sort of appealing to folks to do this or that. And if nothing happened, sort of the next step was the SPCA or the RCMP stepping in, sometimes with somebody with a gun on their hip, which seems like that's a crazy difference. So bylaws fill that gap. I then, once we figured out the bylaw piece, we realized the other gap was enforcing. And so I went to bylaw school, and now we can help the communities, some of the communities, with their bylaw enforcement. But of course, like probably all of you, we're always trying to work our way out of a job. Yeah, no end in sight yet, but hopefully going down the right road. We've also had to put a bunch of our projects on hold because of COVID, again, because they were in community. And so that's been kind of tough. We were getting some momentum going. We take a fairly comprehensive approach to animal care and control and community health and safety. And just not being able to be there physically is really hard. A couple of little bits of news, I guess. So we're out at the airport. We're just across out my window here is the World War II officers mess building, which we don't actually have access to right now, but it is right next to us. We've applied, or we're going to be proposing to the West Coast Committee of the ACRD to include that building in our lease. And the idea being that that'll be our base of operations. Right now, we're in a very temporary situation with ATCO units, and nothing permanent here. So that's sort of a big next push. We've actually received letters of support from all the Indigenous communities to go ahead with that. So the next thing is just to apply to the ACRD through, hopefully, the West Coast Committee. Here on the property, we actually, as we've been cleaning up after years of stuff getting sort of dumped out here, we happened upon a beautiful patch of hops. So we harvested the hops this year, and we've partnered with Vancouver Island Brewing to produce a beer that's in the kettle right now. And so BlackRock is going to be, I believe it's the Big Beach Lounge, will be serving the beer, and hopefully we'll be doing a little event around that, and there's going to be a contest. So really excited about that. And part of that strategy is to get our story and the message out even further than just here on the coast. Like everybody, it's a limited pool of volunteers and donors here. So the more we can sort of get the stories out and engage the people who don't live here but come here and enjoy our services and whatnot. So yeah, beer is on the way. We are possibly the only animal shelter that does have beer on tap, but that's just for volunteers. So if you haven't signed up yet and you want a good beer, we're the place to go. And yeah, I guess hopefully with this lease, it means we can then get rid of the asbestos and whatnot in the building. And then that'll move us along so we can actually hook up to sewer here and become a proper facility with a future. Really the only other thing I would say is that we've really in the last year taken the network part of our name that much more to heart. and have really spent a lot of time building out the network. And so a lot of the projects that we do here, we consider pilot projects, and we're working with some provincial partners, some regional partners, to share those models for other rural, remote, and Indigenous communities that don't benefit from the services of the sort of provincial, the SPCAs, those bigger budget organizations that really just don't get out to these to the end of the road. And there are just so many animals at the end of so many roads that we feel like both our successes and our failures can really go a long way to help others. Given that we've been doing this for 10 years and succeeding and failing. So I think that's it from us. Any questions from anybody?
Thank you, James.
This may be a big topic question, but you spoke of the asbestos, and I know very little about it, but sometimes don't you just cover it up and leave it undisturbed and alone, and because it is worse to try to get rid of it and the cost and the disruption of it and all that goes into play there, as opposed to remediation.
Yeah, we wish that was an option here. There's different products that back in the day had asbestos in, so certain products you can manage that way, others you can't. The situation that we're facing, it's probably actually from the 1950s. There we go. From the 1950s, when I believe they started switching some of the old buildings here from, for instance, this one from an officer's mess to probably a residence, and then it was the insulation that they put in, the vermiculite, as well as some of the wall paneling, which is, I think, probably the worst of it. But the point being, it's already a mess in there after years of neglect. Just as a fun fact, whether that building falls down, which the current path is it's just going to fall on itself, or if we can save it and rehabilitate it, it's the same cost. So if that building were on the ground right now, the ACRD would still be liable for $100 and something thousand to clean it up. So what we're hoping to do is, invest that kind of money into keeping it standing, because basically, Heritage BC has worked with us to do a statement of significance on the building. And it's not just about the significance related to the World War II history, but of course the Tloquit history, and actually how that ties in with land that was lent during the war effort, not returned. But that's a whole nother story.
So I know it's recently come up again at the ACRD that the airport lands and the cleanup that was supposed to be done federally is coming back around because what was supposed to be cleaned up isn't, and it's the residual mess that they invested in to get cleaned up initially, and it wasn't all done. Is this part and parcel of what could get fixed if they do step up and do what's being asked of them to fix yet again?
That's what we're hoping. We're hoping to. The first step is just for us to have access or entitlement, if you will, to the building. And then second would be looking for the ACRD to work with us or on our behalf, or even, I guess, on their behalf, really, to, again, take care of some of that remediation. What we've done is we've actually sought the permission of the Tloquit first to see if they were okay. Again, they're not the ones granting a lease here, but given where we're at today with reconciliation and neighborly relations, it's one of those things that we wanted to make sure that first we had their permission, and then the second will be the ACRD. And as I said, the other communities have, Indigenous communities have voiced their support as well. But yeah, it'll be several conversations, I'm sure, to figure out how to shake a few bucks out of the feds for all their past misgivings.
Perfect, thank you.
Any other questions for James? I think that's a good way to approach it the way you're doing it, James. Going to the ACRD, since they're going to clean it up anyways. They're willing to. So keep us posted. And you got Director / Councillor Cole there, so she's taking notes, and
Great.
She's a strong advocate.
Wonderful.
She's a strong animal lover herself.
Great. Well, thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thanks, James. And hey, where do we pick up the swag from?
carenetwork.ca.
Okay. Oh, okay. Perfect. Maybe home delivery. Talk to you soon.
Yeah, you bet. With a 6-pack.
Yeah, I don't mind it when you and your wife come over, so it's good. Okay. Thanks again, James. I'm moving along. Coastal Family Resource Coalition. No.
I think that was Faye. I think she already went.
Okay, thank you. Girl Guides, Heather.
Hello, everyone. How's everyone? Girl Guides, we're up and rolling for this season. We have 4 Pathfinders that meet on Monday nights, and we're meeting at Heartwood Kitchen right now. And then we do have a Girl Guides as well, and that's actually Rebecca Hurwitz, who's the leader with that group, and they are meeting on Tuesdays. And now I've already forgotten what Rebecca told me. But Tuesday evenings they're meeting, and they're using the UAC hall, which is thank you to the district for allowing us. All right, thank you. And yeah, so we're getting, rules for Girl Guides are changing as we move forward. That we're allowed to meet in person, and they've allowed us to go back to meeting indoors, which the girls are really happy about, especially as we head into the darker days of winter. We've got cookies, and we're really excited that we're going to be able to sell our cookies in person this year. The girls have really missed that experience over the last 2 years, and so watch for it. I know Rebecca's been amazing and has got cookies through the Culinary Guild as well, so you can get your cookies from Tug. And then, yeah, we're just sort of trying to plan our years right now, and we haven't gotten too far. We're not allowed to camp. We're not allowed to do any overnight activities. So we actually could camp if we wanted, but the girls have to have their own tents, and they've all told us that that's not the best part of camping. So they want to all be in a tent together. So, but I don't think, there's really much else to share from the land of Girl Guides. But we were hoping to have a Sparks group this year. Cindy Levine was trying, but again, it's just trying to find a second leader to support her. At the Tofino end, they've got the full spectrum from Sparks all the way to Rangers. So there's lots of girls. There were a group of girls going on a trip to Ecuador that became Thailand, and that trip now is becoming a bit of a memory, unfortunately, again, and that's all based on restrictions. So we're going to see what we can do with the girls on our own on a individual level from just here in Ucluelet. But yeah, I think that's kind of all we have for Girl Guides.
Any questions for Heather?
So happy to hear about the cookies. I will message Rebecca because my in-laws from Port Albion have been, because nobody knocks on their door, and anyway, so I'll have a big order.
Great, I've got them all in my garage.
Is it both the mint and the chocolate and vanilla, because it matters to some people which kind of cookies? I like one kind, and Sean likes another, and Ryan likes a third, so help.
I happen to have both kinds. So I've got chocolate mints and I have the classics. Everybody will be happy.
Nice. As I was talking about my waistline earlier, so it'll be good. Maybe after Christmas. Yeah, there you go. Thanks, Heather, and it's great to see that you're still an active group, because I think the Scouts are having struggles to keep afloat. So it's good to see that one's still here today.
Yeah. Thank you.
Tourism Ucluelet, I don't see Denise. There, sorry, Denise. I don't see everybody there. There you are.
That's okay, no problem. I'm at the end of the alphabet anyways, so I figured I was going to be going to last anyways. From a Tourism Ucluelet standpoint, we have, everybody knows the summer that we just recently had. Some of that was in part that there was almost a 30% visitation of to the island in general, and some of that was also related to the wildfires in the interior, people who were originally going there or living there left and were coming to the island for some respite. So, which in turn kind of made an increased volume of travelers to the West Coast. We had thought that possibly the highway would have slowed people down. And from a visitor services standpoint, a lot of the staff were talking to people who were making day trips from Nanaimo and Port Alberni. So, which was interesting to hear. Other than that, we had a good summer. Everybody is still working, from a stakeholder standpoint, working and recovering from this last 18, 20 months. And our plan moving forward, I'm just working through that right now. So I will be presenting to council in the coming weeks with our 2022 tactical plan, but a lot of it will still continue to focus around responsible travel and sustainable messaging. Ucluelet has started to, our brand awareness campaigns that we've been doing over the years have come to fruition. And so we're transitioning into, even though we have always asked people to be respectful to the area when they come here, we are going to be focusing on that even more wholeheartedly moving forward. As council knows, we are working through a tourism master plan with Abby Fortune at the District of Ucluelet, as well as it's being facilitated by the Whistler Center for Sustainability. And we just had our last open house a couple of weeks ago. So the working group will be meeting to discuss that soon. And we will still be reaching out to a few more business sectors just to get some added information. And with that happening, with the tourism master plan happening, as council is aware, we've also started having conversations about moving up the renewal process that Tourism Ucluelet goes through every 5 years to continue receiving, or the accommodators to continue collecting the municipal regional district tax, or also known as the hotel tax, that helps support, that's our core funding. Other than that, we are, the visitor center is only open 5 days a week right now from Thursday to Monday, because I also am short-staffed. So I'm just trying to work with the staff that I do have. And those are the busiest days out there. And other than that, we're just right in the throes of planning for next year.
Thank you, Denise. Any questions for Denise? Has everybody checked out Denise's new office? How's the new office treating you?
Lovely. It's I get to see a lot more businesses now because I'm right on Main Street. So for those of you who don't know, my office is wedged between the liquor store and Shipwreck Pizza. So I'm in the old Fati space. So it's not good when the ovens start going and they're cooking next door. I get hungry pretty quick. So, but.
Or actually starting to see the liquor store frequent users, so it's. I didn't know about him, but.
No.
Thanks, Denise.
No problem. Thank you.
Is Kathy on with the Daycare Society? No. Okay. Aquarium. Laura, I'm going to save you for last. Okay. I know it's just torture for her. Tarni, welcome. How you been?
Doing great, thank you. How are y'all doing? Thanks for having me. Pacific Rim Hospice Society is where I work, and we have a few things going on. First is our Youth Peer Educator Program. So this just recently started, thanks to the District of Ucluelet funding and CBT. We have our second group that's just started, so it's actually happening at the Ucluelet Community Center. And it's with Tony Buston, District of Ucluelet youth worker, and our counselor, Tara Such. So that's going. So it's 7 weeks of skill building for youth. The idea is that peers usually turn to their peers when they're going through some challenges. So if we could empower them with some good information to share with their other teenagers, then it's a bonus. So things like healthy relationships, communication skills, if you're having some challenges with some relationships, what to do, trouble at home, where the local supports are, and how to reach out for help if you need extra assistance. So it's a really great program, and we're hoping, that this just becomes one of the staple offerings that we offer. February is going to be our next program, and that one will be online via Zoom, so anyone can participate on the West Coast. We have a grief group, the Shelter in the Storm, starting up again. That starts November 4th, and it's 7 weeks long. It's also by Zoom in the evenings. And we also have a November 1st is a Day of the Dead. So we're going to do a little ritual around that, and also just have a casual conversation about death and dying, because boy, doesn't everyone love to talk about death and dying? I know, it's so great. Anyway, we also have a cancer support group that we're offering for anyone currently with cancer, or if you've had cancer in the past. So that's currently just started up again after the summer. So every couple of weeks. Next one is October 28th. And we're finally working with the West Coast Senior Services Network and the Coastal Family Resource Coalition on getting a better at home program here on the West Coast. So that's non-medical home supports for older adults in all of our communities, all 10 of them. So crossing our fingers on that one, that we're going to be starting that soon, hopefully. So yeah, that's it for us. Thank you.
Any questions for Tony? I always amazed with your attitude, how you approach the subject matter. So I know I haven't taken any of your third-party courses, but again, thank you for what you're doing there, Tony. It's a very important service. Moving along, Whalefest. Welcome, Linda.
Unmuting. Hi, and thanks for having us. You have to bear with me. I'm new to the society and actually never got to be in a full whale fest because ours was canceled 4 days before it was about to start when COVID hit. So I'll hit some of the highlights and some of the lowlights, I guess, too. First thing, our AGM is coming up on November 2nd at 7:15 p.m. at the community center. And it's going to be an in-person meeting. We're hoping to get in some new blood, certainly some new ideas. We're hoping people from other societies will come and see what we're up to. We are looking to recruit some new board members because we're down a couple this year. And the good news, I suppose, on that is that we have a coordinator from last year who did a really wonderful job, an absolutely amazing job on a short amount of time and a very short budget. And all those COVID restrictions, she managed to put together a really wonderful virtual festival for us. And she's going to continue for this next 21-22 for the March 22 festival. So we're really quite excited that we're going to be able to put on something similar to what people are much more used to here. The COVID restrictions on outdoor gatherings are much less difficult to work around, and we're hoping that we can do a lot of outdoor type activities as we have in the past. We're looking, spring break here is March 12th to 27th, so we're looking to find 9 or 10 days in there to make that work for us. Our in-person, indoor type activities, we're going to have to see what changes there are as we get closer to see what we can do there. And because we actually had such wonderful reviews from people from all over the world, really, on our virtual festival, we're looking to maybe marry in a few virtual presentations in there and keep that going and see where we can get it to go. It's fascinating to have people to see that we had people from Europe looking at our little festival and learning about our gray whales. We do, of course, have to have all of those protocols in place. So we're boning up on that, making sure that we have everything organized and ready to go. One of the things that came our way was a grant for the BC government is putting in a Fairs, Festivals, and Events Recovery Fund. The deadline for that was October 1, and we got ours in just under the deadline. I don't think we're going to hear anything back until November, but we're really hoping that money from them will help us to get this festival back and on the go, because we're still kind of restricted in the type of like our usual gala type thing, something to raise money. We might have to really scale that back because of the restrictions for indoor events. We do have lots of silent auction items available from past years, so we're definitely looking at that option too. But really the name of the game here is to get in some funding, hopefully with help from the district and Tourism Ucluelet, as we have in the past, to allow us to put on a more normal festival. We are looking too at a possible fundraiser early in December, but again, that depends a little on the restrictions. I think one of the other things I added as a last little note here, right at the end of our season in April of this year, when we were closing down, Sarah had some good news for us that she may have found someone from our Indigenous community who would like to be on our panel in our society and help us with some input from that community, which would just be wonderful to have for a change, rather than reaching out and finding that it's just hard to get those connections. This connection would be very helpful for us. So that's sort of where we're at, just slogging away, trying to find money. Any questions?
Any questions?
I have a comment. I just wanted to thank Denise and Abby for providing letters of support for that grant application that we
Yes.
sent in. That was really helpful, and that was a very last minute request on our behalf. So thank you for those two for stepping up to the plate.
Absolutely.
When was your AGM? You said November what?
November 2nd.
Okay.
A Tuesday night.
We love that on Tuesdays.
Yep.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad that you found some creative ways to get through this year, and I thank you for that, Linda. I think it's great your group continues to plug forward. So we're looking forward to what happens. March is around the corner. How scary that is.
Exactly.
And I'm glad that Denise is being very helpful as well. So, any other questions or comments? You're still active on that board, right? Okay, great. I see Nick there, but I saw one other person there. Was there a Lori? Did I see? What group are you with, Lori?
I'm with Surfrider Pacific Rim.
Okay. Yeah, it's all yours. Welcome.
Oh, yay. Okay. I just thought I'll give a bit of background. So our mission is the protection and enjoyment of ocean, waves, and beaches for all people through a powerful activist network. We have 3 pillars: ending plastic pollution, implementing circular solutions for local waste and pollution issues, and then the third one is engaging youth, individuals, and business and government in ocean-friendly initiatives. So some of the things that we've been working on recently and we're really grateful for is the support around the cutlery bylaw amendment that we're just waiting for approval in November from both the District of Tofino and District of Ucluelet. And that'll be added to the other aspects of that bylaw. And then for our Hold It Onto Your Butt committee, we've recycled 1 million butts, which we're really excited about. We are also going to be rolling out a press release soon for our butt board or dart board, because we've made a support to fully showcase that, because the secret butts are the number 1 item found in cleanups. And then we actually have our Surfrider Sessions, our annual fundraiser, this weekend. And I just found out today all the tickets are sold out, so we're really excited about that. We've actually had an online auction as well as we're doing a silent auction app event and a live auction. So, and they've all been going, well, the online auction's been going really great, actually. If anyone ever wants to talk about that, I'm totally open to it. We are in the last year of our Ocean Friendly Business Initiative funding that we got through the Vancouver Foundation. So like everyone else, we're always looking for funding and ways to continue on our programming. That's a program where right now we have about 56 businesses that we've gotten onto that system of eliminating a lot of their single-use plastics and getting into a lot more environmentally friendly initiatives. So yeah, so we're sort of going to be looking for how we can keep that going. And we're also working with the Alberta Clinical Regional District to roll out some information around their composting program, like public information and educating businesses as that's rolling out in September 2022. And then, yeah, we had a collaboration this summer with the Coastal Restoration Society and Ocean Legacy Foundation and did a bunch of remote cleanups all up and down the coast, and having really great collaboration with the local First Nations and a lot of participation and support. And then we have our YES program that is rolling out this fall in the schools, and they're doing a beach cleanup of Raider in November, early November. Yeah, so that's some of the things going on for us. I think, yeah, again, I think it can be challenging connecting and networking at this time. Oh, we also have Free the Foam. We have an initiative with replacing the First Street docks. So we're doing, again, another fundraising initiative through it. Instead of doing Black Friday on November 26th, we're doing Blue Friday, and we're hoping to raise money to replace the First Street dock because the foam has broken down so much, and we're hoping to replace that completely with air-filled, an alternative that does not include the foam. So just sort of keep your eyes open for that as well. So yeah, those are some of the things we're doing.
Well, like usual, your group is very active, so thank you for that update. Any questions? And was Lori the presenter for the utensils that came before us from Surfrider? Yeah, the cutlery one.
Yes. No, you know what? It was my coworker Alice and our chair Emerita that did it. Cool. Yeah.
Yet again, another group that's very well appreciated on the West Coast, and thank you, Lori.
Thank
Nick,
you.
I know you've been eager. Thank you for attending. I don't think we've had your group on here before, have we?
No, this will be the first time. So, yeah, I'm part of BCASI, or the British Columbia Association of Surf Instructors. So, well, Surfrider advocates for clean and oceans. We advocate for safe oceans, and really focus on the safety aspect and surfing in our waters. So our members are all of the surf schools in Euclid and Tofino. So just a quick background, 10 years ago, lifeguards were eliminated in the national park at Long Beach, which would be mostly our most popular surfing beach in the summer. And since then, the surf industry has exploded. I don't know if you guys go down to the beaches, but there are like so many more people than when I started 10 years ago. So since then, the CoSmart program was started, and last year in 2020, funding ran out and was not renewed for that program with Parks Canada. So this year we took over the printing and distribution of the CoSmart materials so that we can get that message out and keep everyone safe. We also work with Parks Canada to educate all their employees that are on the beach and let them know about rip currents and all that stuff. But really our main thing is we want to advocate for getting lifeguards back at the beach at Long Beach. Long Beach is the most popular surfing place in the summer because of the local winds. It's the best place to surf in the afternoon when we get those northwest winds, and then it faces south, so we get southern swells that come in and makes it great for surfing all summer. And it's just super popular, super accessible. Especially since the incinerator park was closed, all the parking, put everyone out into the most dangerous area, which is right near Lovekin Rock. So there's a very dangerous rip current at Lovekin Rock whenever there's a large swell for inexperienced surfers. We've been pressuring and advocating to get lifeguards back there. And so any support that we can get from you guys or anyone else in the community would be awesome. Just pressure the national park to get back on it. So we're doing what we can with CoSmart pamphlets and stuff like that. We've got a bunch of community donations and help from TU and Tourism Tofino as well to keep those printed and distributed for now. But yeah, that's our goal.
Hi, Nick. Thank you.
Yep.
I don't know if you've been in any of the rooms, either the CoSmart workshops or a few years ago when, I guess 2.5 years ago, meeting with all of the stakeholders in the surfing community. And I brought up a topic. I'm going to just ask you if you can express to me where it is on your scale of things. And that would be coming from my lens as a paramedic.
Yep.
And I can't remember the statistics right now, but they were overwhelmingly clear in that the deaths that came out of surfing incidents were primarily, the largest number was head trauma, which a lifeguard can't save anybody from head trauma, but a helmet can. So just like we wouldn't let our children skateboard without helmets or ride a bike without helmets anymore, but yet we have all these surf schools and instructors and role models and such, with children going out in the water and adults and people who have never been and don't understand the power and the need for respect of the ocean, and come out here to go surfing for the first time, and helmets aren't part of the gig. Can you just share with me your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no problem. So first thing is we advocate for people taking a lesson, because a helmet will only do so much with the force of the ocean. And so it's really more about board control and knowing where your board is and where everyone else is. So like a helmet, the surf helmets, they don't have any kind of face guards, just the top. And a lot of them would be hit in the face because people put their boards right in front of them, comes back at them. People get run over and stuff too. But so first thing is being aware, and people just go out there, they're completely unaware. And so they need to be aware to take a surf lesson. Second thing is having soft boards and soft fins available for everyone. And so even if you are hit by a surfboard, whether it be your own and others, all the novice kind of people should have soft boards. And then the third thing that we've all talked about, and it's a topic that we've all talked about in our meetings for a couple of years, because Parks was also concerned with helmets and stuff. But we're definitely not against having them available for people. And I know some schools do. But having it be a requirement, we feel like it would be more of a hindrance than a help. Because if they're required, then it just like it's
all
not.
Good, Nick. I put you on the spot.
No model anywhere else.
I totally apologize. It was something where I stood up. It was a bit of an elephant in the room back in the day, and I didn't make any friends bringing it up, and I haven't got any traction out of it every time that I brought it up. So I just wanted to get your take on it, and I appreciate you speaking to it, even though I put you on the spot.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, like it's just there's no model for it in the surf industry. Like the helmets that are there are to protect you against like a shallow reef and rock from the power of the waves driving you into the bottom of the ocean, and not necessarily designed to help you from other people's surfboards. And then, yeah, it's just surfing, more or less, to get down to it, is all about looking cool. And many people that, I have in surf lessons or rentals and everything, if we force them to take a helmet, then they wouldn't take a lesson. And so that's
I think
probably
the
bad.
answer is to get somebody who makes a whole lot of money, some big superstar out there who makes a whole lot of money surfing, and everybody looks up to them to do the right thing and don a helmet and save a life. That's all.
Yeah, the more like, I just don't think you get mass within surfing culture. You couldn't get mass acceptance of helmets because for any experienced surfer, it's so rare to hit your head that it's really just a thing for novice surfers. And so it's like almost like you're talking down to people, like, oh, you are bad at this, you need a helmet, type of thing, where it should be more inclusive.
Same
where
thing
like,
on a
oh,
ski hill. A ski hill 25 years ago, it was just the special needs wore them, and now everyone wears them. And so, you know, I think it's a good conversation. Nick, I think, you know, for me, it's the first time I really heard there was a group that was advocating for lifeguards back on the beach. Yeah, and I didn't realize it was still a big thing. So that's, are you making any headway with that?
Well, we've got, I'd say, the local park staff on our side. We've converted them. They kind of realize what needs to happen. And then they've had their student coastal stewards at the beach. And they have been the ones that have been responding to all the incidences. So they've had people at Long Beach essentially every day through the summer and recording everything that happens. And after talking to them, there's so many, like, I know from my experiences from saving people, but having someone there every single day, they're like, oh my gosh, like, you know, multiple incidences all the time. The coastal stewards, which are just college kids that didn't know anything about the ocean until I kind of told them a few things. They ended up starting doing like lifeguarding duties, like, you know, sending people to different parts of the beach, like head counts for people that were in the water on bad days, watching people get sucked out and trying to get other people to help them. It's like a full-on thing. And anyone that surfs a bunch and all the instructors, like, we've been saving people for as long as I've been surfing out here, multiple people a year. And we've tried to communicate that with parks and to everyone else. But yeah.
Okay, thanks, Nick. That was very informative.
Hi, Nick. As part of the CoastSmart program, there's an app that I was just looking on my phone to see if I still had it. Is someone maintaining that and updating it, or are you promoting it still?
No. That was all through Parks Canada, and the only thing that we've been able to take on is just printing pamphlets and handing them out with people that we feel need them, and handing them out with surf rentals when we have people that clearly don't know what they're doing.
Just because the app would work well to get people educated before they actually get here, as opposed to trying to hand them a pamphlet when they're already here.
Oh, I totally agree. We're not in charge of CoastSmart, like the CoastSmart program. We just have access to the materials. So like Parks Canada is in charge of the app, and we've advocated for them to do like targeted advertisements on Facebook and Instagram, so that people that are likely to surf, the 20 to 30 age group, to get those ads before they come to check out the website and access materials and learn what a rip current is before they enter the ocean.
Well, thanks for advocating.
Okay, Nick, thank you. And I think lastly, did I see Julie from Toastmasters?
Absolutely. Hi, Mako. Hi, everyone.
Welcome.
Thank you. So it's time to talk about Toastmasters again. Thank you for inviting us again. Marilyn's always good at reminding me to join in. And the last 6 months have been a little bit of a struggle for us. We still have a lot of members that would like to join, but don't want to do Zoom meetings. They feel like they're zoomed out by the end of the work week. And so that makes it a bit of a struggle for us. We're trying to change things up again for us. So we've worked at doing an hour condensed meeting instead of 2 hours. So a little less time on Zoom, but we still accomplish everything we need to accomplish. So we're I think, on week 3 of that, and it's successful so far. So we're hoping to continue to do that. We're still meeting with the SOMAS group. SOMAS was going to branch out on their own again in September, but due to COVID restrictions, they are not. So currently we're only gaining 1 or 2 members from that experience. So yeah, so a lot of it's just still on Zoom, and we're still looking for some new members and trying to reach out and tell the community what a great program it is.
Thank
Does
you,
anyone
Julie.
have any questions?
Any questions for Julie?
I'll make a statement saying I'm still delinquent at coming to
I am
meetings,
too.
but I am a super strong supporter, have been since back in my pageant days and speech crafters, and I highly recommend it. I highly recommend there being more hours in the day and days in the week also.
Right?
That's my excuse.
Well, what we started to do in September is in Toastmasters, you can get all the way up to world's competition for public speaking. And from what I've heard, when you hit the world's level stage, you've probably competed close to 40,000 people to get there. So by the world stage, they are incredible speakers. And so what we started to do is every meeting we watch a speech from one of the previous winners of
That's a good idea.
the world competition, just to get some new ideas and to show people what's out there and what's capable if that's where you want to go. So just trying new ideas to keep the energy up and to keep the enthusiasm going, because it's definitely worthwhile.
Cool. Well,
And we meet Mondays from 6:45 to 7:45.
Thanks, Marilyn.
thank you, Julie, and I hope on a personal level, I hope you're doing well.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, you take care. And we've hit everybody on the list, I believe, Paula. Nobody's hiding. Oh, I'm sorry, I've been looking at the screen the whole day. Looked at you twice. Would you like to speak at the podium, please? Thank you, Lori. Oh man, look, she's giving me another second stare down there.
I was just going to say now, you got to wait, last but not least.
Yeah, you got nothing
You're
but
going to
time.
pay now.
No, it's
I
all
have
good.
pages and pages. Yeah.
How many different groups are you representing here?
I'm just representing the chamber today. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much for allowing us to come and speak on what our summer has been, what our year has been, and where we're going. Summer was obviously very, very busy in town, and the chamber was no different. After a strong winter and spring with provisions for COVID supports for our members and some free programs for our members, we maintained a busy, busy front. We have formed a partnership with Port Alberni and Tofino on a Shop Local grant application, which will focus on the West Coast for Shop Local, as well as we will be applying for a grant in aid. Our Common Ground marketplace that we established as an e-commerce set for local artisans and makers is off to a good start, and we held 2 very successful night markets showcasing vendors from the West Coast and the island makers. Unfortunately, our ED, Lori Filgiano, returned to her previous employer in the film industry, and we've bridged the gap with some extra fill-in hour times from Sika Anderson, who is running the Common Ground Market. We will begin planning for a huge return of runners again for the Edge to Edge Marathon. We'll start that planning process in January so that we're prepared for the October Marathon. We're expecting to see a really good uptake because we have maintained contact with most throughout the last couple of years because the event has been canceled. And we also have several ideas. I'm not sure if you're all aware, but we are moving our offices to a virtual platform because we are finding that there is more and more requests from businesses to meet with us on their premises because they have been so busy. And when they need our assistance, it's easier for us to come to them than for them to come to us. So we're moving to a virtual platform, and we have a couple or several ideas actually in the works in regards to the chamber building, which, as you guys are all aware, I'm sure the chamber owns the building, but the land is leased by the district from the co-op. We are weighing in on some of the opportunities that we have and hope to come to a conclusion fairly soon. So we're looking forward to another successful year. It will be busy. We will continue to maintain supports for businesses in town as they request, but we're going to go to them instead of them coming to us. So that's all I have to present for today. If anyone has any questions. See, I told you I'll keep it short and sweet. You thought it was going to be long.
I never thought you'd be long.
Just a quick one, Lori. Do we have any information on what's happening with the business supports that are due to finish up October 23rd, like the rent subsidies and things from the federal government regarding
for the wage
COVID.
supplements and the subsidies and
Yes.
so on? I have nothing further. We don't have any wrap-up information yet. We'll continue to push through for this week and supply support for the businesses. I know that we can continue or will continue making the applications as they come in for as long as we can. And we help with that.
Yeah, I just wondered if we had any news from the feds on what was.
I haven't seen anything come across my board yet. I would expect to see a little bit of extensions come along, but I don't know that for sure.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Hi, Laurie. Any ideas what's going to happen with that building that's sitting there right now?
We have a couple of opportunities, like I say, that we're evaluating now, which will be the most feasible and best for the chamber. We have looked at selling the building, and we also have looked at selling it with having it being used for an alternative use than what it has been in the past. But at this point in time, everything is so much in the air. I hesitate to go into too much detail with it. We're evaluating the opportunities so that whichever way that building does go, it'll be most beneficial for the chamber.
That makes a lot of sense. And just so you know, in case you don't know, half the Whale Festival storage is being used by the Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
So if you're going virtual, take that stuff with you.
Yes. We're looking for space to put it into. That was actually at our last board meeting. So yes, we are aware.
Thank you.
Oh, I have another question.
Yes.
Have we got the Midnight Madness date? Are we madnessing? Do we know what we're doing?
That's what we're doing
Most
in
important question
conjunction.
today.
Yeah. It'll be in the same tradition. There will be, yes, a madnessing of some sort. That's what the application for the grant that we're working with Port Alberni and with Tofino and for the Shop Local campaign. It will be very similar to last year with collecting of cards, whether that's a virtual stamp or a something like that, where you can upload your receipt so that you can actually collect points. The prizes will be prizes that will more than likely be paid for by the by any of the chambers, and then they will be gifted to the winners of the contests. We're seeing prize suggestions right now based on the application for between $500 to $1,000 for prize packages, encouraging all around the coast area shopping, so it becomes more of a regional event, but we will have a specific night here in Yuki.
Awesome.
I have my hand up.
Oh, sorry. Who was that? Linda?
Linda?
Linda.
The only thing I missed there was, when did you say you were looking to hold the next Edge to Edge marathon?
It will be in October of 2022.
Oh, it will be in October. Okay.
Yeah.
Like a year from now.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, and it won't be on the same weekend as the Victoria Marathon.
Okay.
Good idea.
Yeah. Odd.
Thank you, Lori, and thank you for being very patient with me and not throwing anything at me. Okay, so we've hit everybody. No one else in the audience. Okay. And moving off to reports, Mr. Lawrence, did you want to say anything regarding that?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is just a quick update for council and a reminder for our nonprofit societies that Last year, there was an extension of the grant and aids through March 1st of 2022 if they were unable to host the program or activity that they were planning to host upon request. So that's coming due fairly quickly here. And then we'll be issuing a notice probably through the Yuki mail and emails to our nonprofits, advising them of the upcoming grant and aid. Application deadline of December 15th. Evaluation or presentation to council will be by February 28th of 2022 for the that year's award of grant and aids.
Perfect. Wonderful. Is there any other business? No? Okay. Question period. Any other last final comments from anybody who's still here? And thank you to those that did stick around. I do appreciate it. Oh, everybody, see, I thought there was only two of us there. Okay. Paula keeps tricking me here and playing with the clicker. So, okay. Oh, they do? Is that what happens? Okay, cool. Okay.
They can turn off their videos. We can't turn off ours.
Anyway, thanks to all of you for sticking around and obviously, lastly, just for the commitment for the community, the different societies. It's been a big struggle, I think, almost the last year and a half, and to see that all the societies are still here with us, and it says a lot about the community, so thank you. We are adjourned. Thanks a lot, and have a great evening.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone.